This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. It's the most important Christian church in the world, and you can see the double doors, half of them sealed up and the other half wide open, with people from all over the world coming in and out to a church that is built over a likely site of Jesus' tomb where he rose from the dead, and also Golgotha Rock, which marks the place near where the cross stood. Well, this church is huge. You really can't see it very well from any particular angle because it's embedded in the middle of the city, but this is the Crusader Facade that they put on the thing. And you can see up above there are two windows up there. The window to the right has a small ladder with 5 rungs made out of faded cypress wood, and it's been there for over 250 years. Now, Ravi Zacharias, who is a very interesting man and I have great respect for, made a fascinating statement. He said one day that unity does not depend on uniformity. And he said that in terms of all the different Christian denominations that exist in the world, which happens to be in excess of 20,000 different denominations. Well, this particular church is overseen by actually 6 different sects. Some people will say 7, but we'll go with 6. And of the sects that oversee this particular church, they don't get along. They don't get along at all. In fact, they fight an awful lot. And that's a real tragedy because that's not what Jesus taught. That funny little ladder that you saw in the picture that's just right up there, that little ladder, 5 rungs, has stood there for 250 years and has taken the name of the Immovable Ladder, because the sects that oversee this magnificent church, big, dark, dreary, but still magnificent in so many ways, built over the most important sites in Christianity, can't agree on who should move that ladder. Really. You see, they all have to agree that the ladder needs to be moved, and somebody always disagrees. So these people who are supposed to talk and show and walk the unity of Christ and the love of Christ can't agree on moving a ladder. You wonder what's wrong with the church. Jesus prayed in John 17 to his Father, saying, as he prayed for those who came after his 12, he said, I pray that they, and that means us Christians who follow after Jesus, might be one, Father, as you and I are one, as you were in me and I am in you, may they be in us. That's a perfect unity. And you have to remember that when Jesus prayed for the unity of his followers, the church, in John chapter 17, think about it. Jesus is God. This is God praying to God, telling God what God wants. And when he talks about the oneness of his people, his church, unity doesn't depend on uniformity. And when he talks about that oneness, the oneness has no caveats. The one word that Jesus never used in his prayer was but. He never said except when, or he never said unless. You see, he is the heart of his church. He is the soul of his church. He is the spirit of his church. And when men divide it up, they are clearly trying to find loopholes in the absolute, perfect, unassailable will of God. What does that mean for us? How do we go about this? Jesus put it very plainly. Love one another. But we don't have affection for a lot of people. Never mind that. When he said love, it was agape, not phileo. Phileo is a word for fondness. Agape is a word for do to others the good that God would want done to them. The good that God would do to them. Works of righteousness. Whether you like them or not, whether you fully agree with them or not, you still do God's good to others. That's the unity of the church. That's the oneness of the church. But the symptoms saying that it's not working are as simple as a ladder up by a window in the holiest spot in all the world for Christians, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre here in Jerusalem. Jesus said, be one. I think we'd better believe him. And it starts by what you do for others, not for salvation, but because Jesus simply said, do it. And we will be one. Uniform? No. Unified? Absolutely. It's His will. He's willing to stand behind it and push. God bless you here from Jerusalem at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.